if we're gonna break this third wall, or the fourth wall, I always wanted to be a NFL cheerleader. I did. I think it's because like when I saw like when people are dancing, how carefree they are and how they get lost in the music. I didn't even know what type of music they were playing. I just got lost in it with them. And I was able to like feed off of their energy while they were up on the stage and I'm in the audience watching them. So when I'm in this predicament and I'm able to do this, it's a whole different thing. And then on top of that, being a trans woman is a completely new experience.
Well, folks, looks like another heartbreaking loss for the Tigers. They go down in a nail-biter, 13-17. Back to you, Jim.
Yeah, coming in hot, just like the fajita. I write what I live, my life in the speaker. I'm nice with the flow, just like the demeanor. I'm feeding my fam, I'm feeding the meter. They got the iron while I got the steamer. I bring the fire, but you never seen her. I testified on
1317 Sports presents Get It Off Your Chest podcast, sponsored by no one. And now, here's your host, Tito.
Welcome to another exciting episode of 1317 Sports presents Get It Off Your Chest podcast. Before we dive into today's episode, I would just like to take some time out to thank my subscribers, my followers. We need your support. We are a young and up-and-coming channel. I love doing what I'm doing, sharing stories, uplifting, motivating, etc., etc. But we are nothing without you. So please continue to like, to subscribe, and to share. Today, we are honored to host a true trailblazer who has shattered barriers and inspired countless individuals worldwide. Joining us is the incredible Justine Lindsay, the first openly transgender NFL cheerleader. Justine's journey of authenticity and resilience has been shared on platforms like the Tamron Hall Show and in interviews with major outlets such as BuzzFeed News and Essentially Sports. Her story is not just about breaking stereotypes, but about embracing one's true self and paving the way for inclusivity in professional sports. I can't wait to explore her experiences, her insights, and her groundbreaking impact. So, without further ado, the bold, the courageous Justine Lindsay.
To that, I love the intro.
I hope I did you justice. I hope I did you justice. So, I meant everything that I said is true, Justine. Your story, your journey is uplifting, it's motivational, and it is a true definition of the ultimate courage. And I just appreciate you reaching out to me on one of my social media platforms, as we are a young and growing brand as well as a channel. And that's what this platform is about, Justine. This is about sharing the journey and the ups and the downs, the triumphs, the victories, the losses, right? The ugly, the good, because you are a inspirational example of what, when adversity is in your path, the ridicule that you had to go through and what you continue to go through to just be you. And that right there is a story that I was like, hey, I would love to have you on this show. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. And I'm just glad that my story is not being lost in the sauce like millions of others in the past, especially now being that we as like a human race and as a community of not just a person who is a part of the LGBTQIA community, but as a African American, woman out here, trying to just survive, and especially right now with everything that's going up and down and like so many changes every single day.
Yep.
But I'm just so thankful to be able to do what I do and continue to do it at my age. I'm only 32, but it's still a milestone just to be able to do it and continue to enjoy and love it, so.
Absolutely. Listen, hey, you said you're just hitting the prime of your life. Now, when it comes, you talking about
But
talking about
I'm tired. Like my bones are literally jittering. Like I be feeling them when I wake up in the morning. I'm like, oh my God, I'm feeling a crack in my back, or I feel like my knee pop. That's like it's a
it,
scary moment, but I'm excited to see where it goes. But I'm also just like, oh God, please, just give me
yep.
another year or two.
See, because you're speaking in you're speaking in terms of an athlete, and see the when you're an athlete and the things that you have to do, there's a wear and tear on your body, and it catches up to you. You
And a
know,
lot of
so
people don't think that dancers are athletes. Baby, we are athletes. We are put through so much as far as just like, as far as like the art form, but also too, we're also entertaining fans around the world that are traveling, or whatever. And so, or like even on the main stage, like you're literally pushing your body to limits that it's never even thought of doing. And so
mm-hmm,
it's definitely a sport. So
100%. And listen, I commend cheerleaders, dancers, the way you have to convert your body and the flexibility. It's literally like being a gymnast, and so it's something I had to grow into, because when I was young, I'm like, ah, man, that's just whatever. But as I got older and I played college football, and our cheerleaders, they were scholarship, and I saw the stuff that they had to do. I'm like, good gosh. And so, but yes, it's a grueling sport. It's a grueling profession.
yeah.
And again, and like you prefaced, she said, I'm getting old, y'all. She 32. She 32.
I'm not there yet, but it's coming, but I'm not there yet. I'm embracing all of my youth and everything.
I love it. Listen, you got to embrace it. Age is inevitable. You either have to embrace it and just grow with it, or you're gonna have a hard time. So
Right. That's right.
so when it comes to the show, I always have to have a beginning.
Okay.
And so the best way to have a beginning to an unbelievable story, which I feel like we're about to embark on, is taking you back, way back into time
How far do you
again.
want to go back now? Because we can go back.
Well,
We can
I
take it all
will.
the way back.
Well, based when it comes to the questions, it's generalized, and you'll put it all together. So, but you have a great story to tell, and again, once again, I just appreciate it. So let's dive into it. Let's
Okay,
go back to
get
let's
talking.
let's go back to your early life, Justine, and can you share a bit about where you grew up and what was your childhood like?
Absolutely. I grew up here in the South. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, born and raised. From a single mother of three. I have an older brother and older sister, and so I'm the baby. I pretty much we all grew up getting a lot of attention, but I feel like when I came around, I think like the brakes on the training wheels were put on like quickly, and I just got so much attention from my family. But I also grew up in a very heavy Christian based, conservative, I guess you can say, childhood, family background. And it was times where things were a little bit hard for me. I guess it's because when you are growing up in the South, anyone who's from the South, like you're dealing with religion, you're also dealing with like your family and like what choices you're having to make, what schools you're having to go to. And so I was put under a lot of pressure to make sure that I uphold the Lindsay name, but also to kind of figure out my identity growing up. And so again, yeah, my mom, she raised three beautiful kids. She did the best that she could, when she was, getting older or whatnot. And
Right.
I would just say that my strength and resilience and confidence and personality, it comes from her. I would have to say it comes from her. She is literally my rock. She is like my girl. Like every time I'm going through something, I just call her. I'm like, girl, I'm going through this and whatever. But like she's just really been like a support system for me, even though, when I was younger and I came out to her, she didn't quite understand it, but she was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna love you regardless. Like, I'm not gonna love you any less. Like, you're my baby, you're
Mhm.
my child. Like, I birthed you, I brought you into this world. I can also take you out. So, but yeah, like my family, like they're really cool, very chill. But I will say, they were very, very like just spiritual. My grandmother had me and my older siblings always in church. From Bible study to the youth gospel choir rehearsals, and then Sunday school, and then of course church service early in the mornings. I was literally that queer boy at the time, literally in church almost every single day outside of school.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine. I cannot imagine going through knowing who you are.
Yes.
As I share with you, I have my sister is transgender, right? And she at the time he went through a lot of things that I didn't understand. I couldn't understand, and
Self-identity.
yep, self identity. And I was not only, and you and I talked about this when it came to your siblings. I'm 8 years older than my my sister, my little sister, and just not only when it comes to I'm not understanding what she's going through, and he at the time, but and I was 8 years older. And so it was like we were in a whole nother stratosphere when it came to just the age and just relative relative things in regards to relatable things, excuse me,
Right, right.
that we had in common because we were just so much so far apart in age. And
Exactly.
so now just hearing you talk about just a little bit about your early childhood and going to church and going through these motions, but not being able to, uh, because you don't know fully how to, at the time.
Or even
Uh,
who I was, I mean, and like you said, like my brother, he is 7 years older than me. And so
mm,
like I completely understand, like my brother is on a whole like just mindset is doing other things. Like he's getting ready to go
mhm,
to high school, he's getting ready to play football, do his own
mhm,
thing. And then it's like me and my sister were 2 years apart.
mm,
So she was more so like very, like close to me and just made sure that when my mom was at work, she was the one like getting me up for school, making sure I'm dressed properly, making my breakfast and stuff when my mom wasn't able to do it because, here's this woman right here. She has 3 kids.
mm,
She didn't put any of her baby's fathers on child support. She just did it on her own. But also too, make no mistake, my mother also had help from my aunt and my grandmother and, just everybody chimed in because that's
mm,
just what you do when you're a family, so.
mhm, yeah, it sounds like and it's always the case.
Oh yeah.
A strong, they care about her kids. They care. I don't care if you turn into a rock. I'll bust somebody up for you. So
Real quick. So yeah.
right. So that though, so you have some support when it comes to your family, your immediate family base. And now, did you have any type of, as you were going through these, and I'm not sure if you said this, but Justine, when did you come out when you were a kid? So tell me that story. Tell me, you, w- first and foremost, when did you start feeling that something was different about you? Let's go there.
So I'm actually writing the details in my memoir, which we'll talk about later on. But it's funny because I had many different situations that happened that I wouldn't say I was out yet. I didn't announce it to my mom, but other people around me knew. Let's just say that.
Hmm.
So the first instance was, growing up with my sister, I was literally playing with her Barbie dolls and Ken. So, do you remember like the Easy Bake Oven?
Of course.
I was literally making cookies and brownies with my sister, like learning how to do all of that. I'm literally in her room, like wearing her tiaras and her gowns because my sister, she grew up doing pageants.
Okay.
So, and people used to call my sister the little Pocahontas because
Hmm.
she's literally like, I would say your complexion, long, pretty, like just gorgeous hair, natural hair,
Hmm.
and just she literally resembled like Pocahontas for real, for real.
Wow.
So I just was like, I don't know. I was just like a little kid, just like looking up, at his sister, and it's like, oh my God, like I wanna do everything that she's doing. So that was one scenario. And then two, when I me and my sister, we went to a German academy.
Uh-huh.
And while we were there at this school, it was very hard to get into. Like you had to almost like be selected in to get into the school. But we were there, and I had a little crush on this boy. And his name, I can't remember his name. I think his name is like Jalen Smith. We'll call him Jalen Smith.
Okay.
And he was like he was everything. Like, and I know like it's kind of weird because like you're in elementary school, like you're supposed to be out there learning your ABCs, your one, two, threes, learning how
Right.
to count.
Right.
I'm literally like so like just into him. I was
Mhm.
getting good grades now, but I had like a little crush on this boy, and he also had a crush on me. And one day, we were in class together because we had one class together, and we were literally getting ready to get through nap time,
Mhm.
and we all used to bring our little sleeping bags, and we used to sleep up under our desk or whatever. And um, we literally shared a kiss together. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Mind you, I never did anything. I didn't like string him along. He
Right.
just did this, and I was just like, oh my gosh, okay. And that was it. Like,
Mhm.
we just, I guess, formed some type of relationship, and we didn't even know what it was. Fast
Correct.
forward, I don't know. I think I just kind of just went to my mom, and I was like, hey, mom, like, I'm gay. And she was just like, okay, well, can you help me put my lashes on? I mean, that was literally like verbatim what she said. If I had a Bible right now, I would put my hand on the Bible. She said, okay, well, come put my lashes on. And I think like it didn't resonate with her right away. Because I think like she was ready to go, like go out
Yeah.
with her friends. She didn't even probably think twice. And then like eventually after she kind of like sat me down and, was like, okay, what's going on here? And then when I told her, she was like, okay, well, like you're still my baby. I don't know what she did after that. She might have went inside the room and like cried or whatever, or prayed to God. I'm not really sure, but I just know that from my experience, she accepted me with open arms.
Arms.
It just took my grandmother a little bit of time to kind of come around, because
She's
she
old
at a
school.
different time,
Yep. Old school. Old school.
old school, yeah.
And so now, and how old were you? How old were you around this time when you were talking to your mom, telling your mom this?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say about 9 or 10 years old. 9 or 10.
Wow. Yes. So it was early.
Less, probably even younger than that. I mean, yeah, probably younger than that. But
Wow.
I imagine probably like 9 or 10 years old, around that age. Yeah.
Wow. And again, just shows to me how courageous, because again, when you hear most of these stories, I was 17, I was 16, I was 21, 25, and here you are 8, 9, 10 years old, and you just know, you just know. And so
So too, my mom
just
didn't put that pressure on.
right.
Like if I wanted to go and play Legos, they were right here. If I wanted
Mhm.
to go, and like play basketball, even though I was like the only one in my family who was just like playing with like the little fake ones because everybody was so like doing other things, I could do that. Like I was just a kid, and I think, and I'm not, this is not against anyone who has kids. I just think that allow your kid to like just be a kid at a young age.
Mhm.
Don't put too much pressure on like trying to figure out, or like force them to be something that you want them to be, because it's a difference when they get older. They become very spiteful, and then it becomes a situation where the parent and the child don't have a relationship anymore, and then they want to go and run away, and then now they're on the streets, and you're, even though you probably like, okay, well, I don't agree what they're doing, I'm gonna let them learn, but you're
Right.
also in the back of your mind always feeling guilty with yourself because you're like, oh my God, I wish I was able to shield my child. To the parents out there, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not a parent, but I would just say, just let your child just be a child. Let them just grow into the person they were truly meant to be. Because at the end of the day, only God knows who your child is going to be before anybody else in this world. So
Yep. Percent. And of course, at the end of the day, you may be a child, but they're also a human being,
they
and they're
also,
human being. That's the thing.
That was cute. I like that.
Yeah, it's well, that gets lost. It gets lost in the shuffle. You said it. Said this during a interview, and one of the sources that I read. You said that, paraphrasing, that people always think about the sexual aspect of being, transgender or gay, right? And they don't think about the human part, the person part. You people, we're all people. We all have arms and legs and eyes and toes and ears, and we bleed red blood. For people who don't believe in all that stuff, but it's the truth. So going back to your story. So you're telling your mom you have some pushback when it comes to some pushback when it comes to acceptance, when it comes to grandma, which is understandable. Grew up in a whole different time. Hey, your mama grew up in a whole different time too, but she just grew up in a whole different time. See, that's the excuse we get them old people.
My mom grew up in a good time because back in that time you had I don't know
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
yeah, she grew up in a really good time, and I'm just I really wish that I grew up around the time my mom grew up.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
Considering the story that she told me, I was like, good Lord, you were doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. It's some time frames. It's some time frames, and especially in the South, that I ain't trying to go back to. I want to go do that, but to each his own. As I digress. All
Right.
right, to each his own. I digress. So, when it comes to dancing,
Yes.
when it comes to your passion for dancing during this time in your early childhood, were you always passionate about dance and or performing? Like, what sparked your interest in dancing or cheerleading, or
Yeah,
who?
absolutely. So I will say I didn't grow up oh my gosh, I want to be a dancer. I didn't even think I was going to be a dancer. It just really fell into my lap because when I was younger, I was doing all of the boy things, playing football and basketball, even though I was really good at playing football.
Mm,
I just didn't really care for it. That was just
no
that wasn't
passion.
my thing.
No passion. You had a passion for it.
I didn't have a passion for it, but I was damn good at it. Okay, I was damn good. I was a wide receiver. I was like, what juke? I was doing
Uh,
everything. And also too, my dad. One of the things that I think I just fell out of love with that was because my dad, he was just not there. He was not present. Which we can get into that, but how dance kind of fell into my lap. My sister and I, we went to the same middle school.
okay.
I'm in the sixth grade and she's in the eighth grade. So this is her last year. She's getting ready to go off to high school. And that same year when I entered, she was trying out for the middle school cheerleading team. And so before she tried out for the middle school team, the dance team, I'm sorry. She was a cheerleader and I was a football player for this outside league. It's called PAL, Police Athletic League. And
Okay.
it's kind of like AAU, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just more, based out of, North Carolina. And so we were doing that. And so I guess my sister, she was feeling herself, went off to middle school, tried out for the cheerleading team, and unfortunately she didn't make it. But she was like, I have another opportunity, and I took it. So she went off to try out for the dance team. In that process of her trying out for the dance team, I would stay after school with her because I'm in sixth grade, so you can't join any type of clubs or any sports until you're in the seventh grade. And
Okay.
so I'm sitting there at her dance rehearsal, and I'm learning and picking up the choreography like this. It's just coming to me
Naturally.
naturally, and mind you, I still can't join. I can't do any type of sports at all. And so I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, here come tryouts. Tryouts come. She makes the team. And I'm sitting there at her rehearsal every single day learning the choreography until one day she wasn't able to make it because she had something going on. But I was able to stay and learn the choreography for her and teach her when I got home. And I remember my dance coach. Her name is Miss Clark. Shout out to Miss Clark.
Shout out Miss Clark.
Yes, Miss Clark, I love you. If you ever watch this, I love you. Shout out to you. But she literally pointed to me and was like, "You come here." I'm thinking I'm in trouble because mind you, I'm in the back. I'm in the back. I'm just dancing, but I'm just doing my own thing. And she said, "Hey, listen, I need you to stand in for your sister. I need you to do everything that I'm telling you to do." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." So here's my moment. And I literally killed it. Like, she was like, "Oh my God, who are you? I need to get in contact with your mom, your dad, whoever." And that's kind of like how it started. And
Mm.
maybe like after a couple of days of me being at the practice, she got the principal of my middle school permission for me to join the dance team. And I'm like, here I am, sixth grade, not even supposed to be doing any type of sports, joining the dance team. And I think that's what really set it off.
Now, when it came to your sister, what was she salty? Was she salty about?
My sister, honestly, she was just ready to go to high school. Like, she was like one of those girls, like, I don't know if you remember this time, but like, like when you have like a popular sister in high school or brother in high school, she would walk me to my class. And all the boys used to be like all up on her. They'd be like, "Damn, who is that?" Like, just, and I was like, "Boy, if you don't sit your little tail down, like, you is too young for her." So it was like, I was kind of like eating that up, like every time
Yeah,
she came to class. And
yeah,
so when they knew like she was my sister, they didn't really give me no flack. But also too, like my sister, she didn't care. Like she was just doing it because I think because she didn't make the cheerleading team, that kind of like, messed with her a little bit, I'm
right.
assuming.
Hmm.
So yeah, but she didn't care. She was supporting me from the jump.
Right. So your coach, she's paying attention. She she watching you the whole time while you waiting over there, for your sister at practice, recruiting you the whole time.
I'm literally just standing there in the back corner because I mean I can't do anything. I don't want to be a distraction. So I'm just standing there and then I'm just doing my thing. And, she just called me up in the middle of the floor with everyone else, obviously, and told me to stand right here in my sister's position and then like just do all the choreography. And next thing I know, I'm getting called into my principal's office. I'm thinking I did something wrong. And
Hmm.
she was like, "Hey," so Ms. Clark reached out to me and she wanted to, ask you or ask me, permission for you to join the dance team. So, she talked very highly about me to the principal and the principal let me do it. And
Hmm.
everything else was history.
Now you're on a cheerleading team. This is elementary. This is middle school. I know down south, sixth grade is considered middle school. So
Yeah.
up north, sixth grade. Well, when I was going to school, that was back in the day. Sixth grade was still elementary. That's in seventh and eighth grade was middle school. But
Oh,
so
okay.
you're
Gotcha.
right. So you're doing this. And how was school? How was your time at this during this time? And we're in the sixth grade, like up until that point, like you've come, your folks know because at an early age, we just family just knows. So it's when it comes to you, just right. When it comes to you, you come out to your mom at like 8, 9, 10, but you're going through school, and now you get to the sixth grade, and you're joining the cheerleading team.
Dance team, dance team.
Dance team, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Thanks for the correction. You good. So again, because I want to, this is for the journey is important. The story is important. And so there's kids who are going through this now. So going through, you in sixth grade, you get the cheerleading, I mean, the dancing, dance, girl, you gonna kick my butt. Um, you get on the dance team. How was the schooling? Because we know kids are cruel. Kids are cruel, and I know you had to go through a journey when it came to that. Am I? Would you expand on that?
Absolutely. So in middle school, I mean, I didn't get bullied, if like that's like the proper word to use. I didn't
Hmm.
get bullied. I
Hmm.
didn't get bullied. I just didn't hang out with a lot of people. You know,
Right.
I didn't hang out with a lot of people, but also too, like I wasn't really allowed to go to, like I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things that my friends who lived in the neighborhood with me, were able to do. Like I was able to hang out or like go outside, but I always had to have a chaperone. I always had to have like my sister
Hmm.
or my older brother when he was at home. I never really was able to go outside by myself. Mind you, I'm tiny. I'm like a little small little thing,
Yep. Yep.
in middle school, the wind could blow and it could sweep me to the next city. No, so my mom was just like my family again, they were just so like
Oh, protective.
very protective of me. But when I got into middle school, I mean, I had like a few friends, but like I didn't like hang out with too many people. But people knew who I was. I
Right.
want to make that very, very clear. People knew who I was, especially when I was in the 7th grade. That's when things really started to pop off. But in middle school, I was just kind of just going through it really much. But I didn't get bullied. I only had like maybe like 3 friends who I confided in and talked to. It's funny because I had a girlfriend, and I don't know how this came about. You know,
Hold on, Justine. Hold on, Justine. You ain't talking about like your girlfriend. You talking about like boyfriend, girlfriend.
boyfriend, girlfriend.
you, you crazy.
Boyfriend, girlfriend. Listen, I promise you, it was like the Norbit movie. Like literally, it was Norbit.
Shout out to Norbit. Shout out to Norbit. Shout out to Eddie Murphy.
Shout out to Norbit and all the characters who played on that movie. Like y'all did an awesome job. But like that was literally my life. Like I felt like I was Norbit, and then the girl was, I mean, just not my type at all. Like no shade to her, but I just
Yeah.
wasn't. I didn't want a girlfriend. I think
Yeah.
I think I just played around with it. Because I was in school.
Yep.
I thought that was gonna make me popular. I thought it was gonna do something for me. It didn't do a damn thing. It just people already knew what it was, so they was just like, "Child, why are you faking the funk? Like, just do what you do." But yeah, like that was kind of like the beginning of my 6th grade year, and then of course 7th grade came around, and then that's when things really started to like pop off.
This is when you had to body slam anybody. Did you? Your mom?
When I got to 7th grade, I had a great successful run with the dance team. I didn't join it at that particular time because I'm now a full-time student at a nearby dance school. I got a full scholarship to attend. So I was
Nice.
already literally a full-time dancer outside of
Gotcha.
middle school. That was taking up all of my time. And during that time, I just performed the ballet, The Nutcracker and Sleeping Beauty, which one of like the biggest productions that the Charlotte Ballet School had or was coming out with. And so I remember I debuted in the Charlotte Observer newspaper, and they were just I don't know if it's because I was Black or if I was like the youngest dancer to play this particular role. I don't know. They just did a news article on me, and that's kind of like where everything kind of started. I was like 13.
Wow.
At that time, I was just becoming 14, and then that same year after that whole thing, my aunt was listening to the Steve Harvey morning show, and she was listening to it, and I guess like Debbie Allen was having a commercial like dance workshop in Chester, South Carolina. Shout out to all my Chester folk. I love y'all. Y'all made my life change forever.
Shout out.
Debbie Allen literally had a workshop out in Chester. And so my aunt was like, "Hey, listen, since you're already dancing anyway, why don't you just go to this workshop?" It was over the weekend. I didn't have classes that weekend. So me, my mom, and my grandmother, we all went. I packed up all my dance clothes, and I'm just gone. We go to Chester, and out of 150 kids, she chose me to move to California at 14 on my own and become a full-time student.
Whoa. See this, hey, Justine. See, this is stuff I went listen, when I'm doing my research, on my upcoming guests, especially when they have articles that you have when it comes to your boldness and your willingness to share your unbelievable story. I ain't see that. I want to. This is one of the reasons why I do this show, Justine.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
this is stuff that you cannot find in any article because we don't got enough money.
But they don't even ask me the question. They so worried about
Yep.
the
Yep.
they doing. I'm just like, can you ask me the good stuff? I can give you a juicy story. I mean, honey, like
Correct. Yep.
it's very juicy within itself. but you're not asking the important questions. How did I get
Yep.
here? You know?
Yeah. Hey, listen, I say, thank you for letting me ask you these questions. And so, again, it's been I had a lot of time to prepare. And
Yeah.
so you get chosen out of 150 young ladies and young men to go to California. Hey, yo, this is great. This is great. And so you get flown out to California,
At
right?
14, yeah.
At 14 years old. And tell us about that experience. Tell us about that experience.
Leading up to that day, oh my God, it was so emotional. To kind of take it back a little bit. Again, my dad was never, I would always see my dad on the weekends. So at this point in my life, we had a relationship, but we really didn't. Like it was just like non-existent.
Right.
But my mother always made sure that no matter what, he knew what was going on in my life. And so even though at that particular time my mom and my dad were not speaking, my grandmother was speaking to him and like letting him know, like, hey, your baby is doing some amazing things, you know. And I'm still Justin at this point. So, he's
Got you.
to LA, to pursue his dance career. And so I remember my my dad came to the house. Yeah, he came to the house, to my grandmother's house, and I just broke down crying. My stepmom started crying with me. Like we were all in the house, just like boohoo crying. Everybody was just loving and surrounding me throughout this process. And then we eventually, me and my grandmother, because my mom, she couldn't fly out at that particular time because she just started her new job.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother, we flew out there, and the rest was history. I was able
Mm,
to stay with the host mom who couldn't bear her own children, but she was
mm.
able to bring, kids to stay with her. And so I was the lucky child to stay with her. She was a lawyer, and she's still a lawyer, but she's a lawyer for the LAUSD school district out in California.
Shout
Very
out.
well known woman. I mean, when I
What's
say,
what's
I'm sorry.
what's her name? What's her name?
Her name is Belinda. Last name is Stith. Shout out to you.
Belinda. Yes, a shout out, baby.
When I tell you this woman, when I moved there, mind you, I'm in the South. Now I
Mm,
grew up. I consider myself growing up middle class because back
mm,
in the day there was three different
100%.
situations going on. You had the poor, you had middle
Yep.
class, and you had the
And the
rich.
rich.
Okay,
Yep.
so my family, we were considered middle class, at least to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so going out there to California, I'm staying in Balwin Hills. I didn't
Mm.
know what I was getting myself into. I'm literally driving down the street and I'm seeing Rolls Royces, I'm
I got
seeing
that.
Porsche, I'm seeing Mercedes, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, oh my
It's the
God.
it's the
Okay, like
it's the
I'm
black
literally in
black the black Beverly Hills.
the Black Beverly Hills, exactly. And her friends, my host mom, which is like my second mom, she is friends with like so many powerful people. I mean, she literally changed my life, and she really showed me the true essence of Black excellence
Man.
at its best.
Mm. Wow. So you and how long are you out here, Justine?
Yeah, I'm out there in LA for about, so I graduated I graduated middle school out there. I will
Wow.
say this. I was in the 7th grade, my first quarter in Charlotte. When I went to LA, they're on a different school system and
Correct.
different scale. So the grades that I made in Charlotte, they all went up a grade. Like they were worth more in LA
Mm.
than they do than like they were here. So all of my
Mm.
B's became A's.
Wow.
Grading scale went from this to this. So now I basically didn't even finish 7th grade. I went straight up. I went straight to 8th grade. And I only did
Mm.
a quarter, and then I graduated.
Wow.
And then I
Whoa.
was out there until my sophomore year of high school. Yeah.
Good gosh. So you was out there for a minute.
I would travel back and forth. So,
Right. How was the experience in regards to, dancing? Like that this is where you're getting, top-notch education on proper, proper dance moves and proper ways to move your body and how to train and how to eat.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've always, and I want to make this very clear because I think some people just get in their mind, especially like later on when we talk about the really tough things,
Yeah.
um, that I just grew up one day or I just came out of nowhere and said, hey, I want to be a dancer. No, I started young, but at the same time, I knew immediately once I got full thrust into, this this new era of mine,
Mm-hmm.
this is the lane I want to go into. So ballet is my love. Like I love ballet. That's my heart. That's my soul. So to be around a lot of black, beautiful, dark, light skin, just
Like excellence,
people,
like you said.
it was crazy. And I didn't know who Debbie Allen was. I didn't know who she was when I first
Wow.
met her.
Of course,
But
of
I didn't know,
course.
but she walked up to me and she was like, "How you doing, sweetheart?" And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, this is royalty in
Debbie Allen.
the arts world and to the world." I was immersed into so much. I'm learning ballet, modern, jazz, hip hop, flamenco, salsa, denim, musical theater, silk. I'm learning all of these things, and I'm doing this every single day from Monday to Sunday after school. I would literally walk like 18 miles from my school, and I would go to my dance school, and I'm doing this every single day.
This is called grind. This is a grind. This
Yes.
is a grind. What and they paying you. This is you on a scholarship. You out here on a scholarship, and wow. Again, Justine, I wouldn't have been able to read about that. I didn't know. Shout out to Debbie Allen. Shout out to Debbie Allen.
I'm gonna
One of
do
the
this fist pump right here, and then I'm gonna roll it back because shout out to you, Miss Allen. But I got my little thing with you. But shout out to you.
oh.
Keep it real. We're gonna keep it real. We're gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, listen. At
yeah.
the end of the day, what's the name of my podcast? Get it off your chest, right?
I'm a,
Get
yeah.
it.
So
We don't worry. If I can remember, I typically try to remember, but I always forget because I get so wrapped up in the great conversations that I have. I want to. I got to start including the get it off your chest moment. What's one thing you want to get off your chest? But I want to try to do it at the end of every episode. So let's see if I remember.
and if you
So
remember, I'll remind you.
Hey, I appreciate that. So you out here out until your sophomore year, 15, 16 years old.
Yes.
You're learning dance from the best, one of the best in the industry. You had to earn your right out there. You had to earn a scholarship. You had to be good at what at what you did. I mean, it came natural to you, as you said. And you're 15, 16 years old now. You got to head back to the South. And now when it comes to heading back to the South and dancing, all right, you get back, into North Carolina, and hopefully you ain't too sedity by then. You ain't too bougie. You ain't too bougie. Hopefully you look at. She was bougie, y'all. She was bougie.
I'm not gonna lie. I think like when you're living out there for a while, like you start to. I mean, I met Denzel Washington. I'm going to
Wow.
Kennedy Center. I'm dancing behind James Ingram. Just
Oh,
like so many like important
poor
people
people.
that I didn't even think I was gonna even meet. I'm dancing
Wow.
behind them, and I end up meeting. I will say this. This is before the whole Diddy stuff that's going out right now. I ended
Uh-huh.
up
Uh-huh.
opportunity to learn from Lorianne Gibson
Wow.
at her she's still in her prime, but when she was doing a lot of like TV shows and like TV opportunities,
Yeah. She was that woman.
I was able to meet Sean Bankhead, who was one of the best choreographers out here that a lot of musicians now to this day still use.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I even worked with a lady named Karen McDonald. Anyone who watches the Michael Jackson Thriller music video, she is the lady who was standing right behind Michael Jackson in the purple dress. I had a luxury of taking her class. She was my modern teacher.
Wow.
So,
Wow. I'm talking about y'all. You can't read about this.
no.
And what Justine says, they just don't ask the question.
Just ask me the question.
Just ask. Get to know her. Get to
I'll
know
make
her.
it so much easier if you just ask me the
The
question.
questions, 100%. So you get back. You say you're a little bit bougie,
Yeah.
and tell me when does cheerleading come into the picture? Is it
Comes like later on, like
that comes
late.
later on? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get there later on. So when it comes when it hey, so I want to stay on track. We in the early years still, y'all. Um uh some challenges, right?
Yeah.
You know, you said you weren't bullied in school. You had a support system at home. You had brothers and sisters who would, beat up the wind for you. Your mom would beat up the earth for you. And but you had to have some challenges. You had to have some challenges or barriers, and that you faced growing up. And like and again, this one of the premises, one of the key components of the show is uplifting, encouraging, right, motivating, and again, this is important pieces of the story, right? So when it came to some of the challenges and the barriers, did you what kind of challenges or barriers did you face growing up, and how were you able to overcome them, aside from what we've mentioned when it comes to your family? Because that's a given.
Yeah. So I tried to I never shared this to my family until I went off to when I was in LA. I was taking a class, and my teacher just so happened to ask all of the students, like, hey, can you write me an essay about like the most scariest thing that you've experienced in your life? And I've kept this in very, very, like, I just shut it down and just got it out of my brain. But I was a rape victim, not once, but multiple times.
Mm,
And I mean, I'm over it now, but sometimes, like, just even thinking about it,
of course.
it kind of like just it gives me a like weird vibes,
Of
chills
course.
that I'm just like, ugh, like I don't
Mm,
even want to like think about it because that was like a really dark time in my life.
mm,
But I disclosed that to my family because my host mom at the time, she ended up, I guess, getting called from the school from my teacher.
mhm,
And she called my host mom, and then my host mom called my mom or my grandmother, who or what have you. And then they were like, okay, well, we didn't know this. Do you want to come back home? So I said, yeah, I'll come back home. But at this point, I'm dating a guy out there who's also at the dance studio with me.
mhm,
And I'm battling with that,
mm.
kitty love,
Right,
little
right,
stuff like that, not doing like anything crazy, but just kitty love. And so
right.
um I think I just had too much. I had too much, on my mind. And at this
Wow.
point I'm dealing with, bulimia. I was anorexic. I was weighing like 98 pounds.
Wow.
I was, but also too, people don't understand like the origin of ballet, you know, back in the day, you had to be very pencil thin,
Yep. Small and petite.
small and petite. And so I always wanted to be like, I was in my mind like, hey, I want to be a ballerina. Like that's just who I wanted to be. And so I would literally starve myself. I
Mm.
would literally only just eat a banana, and I would eat an egg and a banana.
Whoa.
When I would go to school, I wouldn't eat anything. I would just drink water. Like I was just not doing it. And so all of that, took a toll on me. And so I just had to say, you know what, I need to come home. And then like the minute my grandmother saw me, she just like, I remember she fell to the ground. She was like, oh my God, like I don't even know who this person is no more.
Unrecognizable.
Unrecognizable, because also too, I had very strict Russian ballet teachers. They were both from Moscow, Russia. And
Mhm.
so this is what they knew. They were like the best of their world, the ballet
Yeah.
world. And so, I expressed that to my teacher. So that's all they knew, to make sure that I was very thin, I looked tiny, and just
Wow.
did what I needed to do. And so that took a toll on me. I went through a little bit of depression, but I went through it by myself. I didn't get
Mm.
help from anybody. I went through it by myself, and it was tough,
Right.
I'm also dealing with my identity, still
Sure.
trying to figure out who this person is. And it was it was not easy because, my family are just continuing to do their thing. They're
Mm-hmm.
just doing their thing. Yeah, they're happy for me 'cause I'm making all these accomplishments and they're talking about me and raving about me to their family and friends, but also too, I'm dealing with a demon and dealing with like a situation that happened right under you all nose and you didn't even, you know,
Right. Right.
like that.
Right. And this happened. And Justine, this happened out again. Just to clarify, this happened out in California, correct? When you when it came to you, being, you know, was
No,
this out?
this was back home. This is
This was at home. So this, oh my goodness. So you're telling me you're in California and this has happened to you at home and you're carrying this with you this whole entire time while you're in California, which is, you know, causing you, that much more, you bulimic, you're you're 98 pounds. Whoa.
you can only imagine. Listen, I'm only 5'4". At that time, I was probably like what 5 foot, 5'1".
Hmm.
So think of somebody that short
Wow.
and
My
just
wife's five. My wife's 5'1". I'm 6'1". I know exactly.
so
I know.
that's like how
Yeah,
tiny and sick that looks. Um,
man.
look at myself like that. I didn't look at myself as being sickly. I just was like
Right. And
this.
hey, hold on. And this to say, we ain't saying that you 5'1", boo, and you sickly. I'm talking about my wife. That is not what she's talking about. Okay, all right. She's talking about 98-pound bulimic Justine. Okay, not 5'1" Kelly Steve. I had to save myself because
No,
we
no,
because
no, 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 I got
we
you.
didn't call.
I
But
got
yeah, so you're carrying this, and you were well. I'm talking about, and now when looking back, and you said this, you ha- you tried to handle this by yourself. When it comes to now, in retrospect, looking back, you would you recommend that, depending on who you are, and
I would.
this
I wouldn't want anybody to deal with that. No, not at
yeah.
all.
And I just just want to tell you I appreciate you sharing that because again I had a and I haven't put the content out yet, and I had a guest on here, and they also discussed this, and that just takes so much to be able to share,
Yeah.
and because you have to relive it, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you sharing that to me, and sharing it to the audience, and because again, this is what it's about. It's about the journey, the how you overcame, how you were able to overcome, you know, tumultuous situations. You never know who's. I always say you never know who's listening. You never know who's watching. So I just appreciate you sharing that. And
Yes.
so now you get back and your grandma, she can't believe it. She can't believe her eyes. And you said you're dealing with this, and that's what going back to the question, some of the barriers and stuff that you had to go through and how you had to overcome. So you said you went through it. You were going through it by yourself, and go from there because I think we kind of started having some good times. Go. Let's go back there. So
Yeah.
you're dealing with it yourself, and you're
I'm literally back home. My grandmother just was like, "Oh, baby, I need to fatten you up. Like, you need to put some more. Like I'm literally pencil thin. So I'm eating soul food back to back, like every single day. I'm just eating like a hog. I'm just eating like crazy. And the only thing I could think about was just like dance. I want to get back into the studio. I want to dance. I want to keep doing. I want to keep doing it. And so, the reason why I left LA was because there was a lot of conversations amongst the dance moms in the studios.
mm-hmm.
This was around the time when the parents would sit outside in like in the front,
Oh my goodness.
and we'd be talking and we doing all of this, and then
Oh.
I I never had to endure this because when I first started out dancing, I see a lot of I went to a predominantly white,
Mm-hmm.
probably like number I was probably like the only like I was it was like three of us who was black.
Whoa.
in this dance school. So a huge transformation from LA, just seeing the same people that look like me, every single
Mhm.
day. And so when I find out that, my family is being like my family from back home in Charlotte is being talked about, really crazy. I remember one day this is the reason why I came back home.
Okay.
I got into a really nasty argument in front of the dance school with my host mom.
Ooh.
And so it got to the point where Debbie Allen sat me and her in the room. She got on her and was like, how dare you? Because you opened up your home and we're paying you. Like I'm hearing everything, like the truth of it,
Mm.
like why I'm here. My talent brought me here, but also too, like, she opened up her home and the school is paying her.
Got you.
So I think I remember saying something smart and then I got slapped in the face by Debbie Allen.
Woo.
Say that to everybody, but yeah, I remember
Woo.
she used to call me her diamond in the rough, and I think I said something real slick. I think not to her, but
Yeah.
to my host mom. And I remember I just got slapped, and
What?
I was literally that wasn't the last time I went back out there because I went back out there several other times, but that was like the time I had to say, you know what, F this.
Wow. Whoa. 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 Hey, listen. Your
It's getting
story's great.
good. But
It's
I
get
but to answer your question though, so I went back home and like my family, I was going through this whole entire like process. I mean, I'm literally in like deep depression. I'm going through this by myself. And I didn't go to a therapist. I just sat like my grandmother knew what was going on with me. And so she immediately went to the church. And I went
Mm.
to go and speak to the counselor at the church. But that didn't work. That ship sank very quickly because I felt like they were just being so judgmental about everything.
Of course, it's church. Of
They were
course.
so pointing a finger at me like, okay, well, it's so because you had to endure this or because you overcame this is the reason why that you're this. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? That
Right.
has nothing to do with anyone, you know, anything. Like, are you crazy? And so
Right.
just hearing that, I was like, you know what? Y'all can kiss my ass. So
Yeah.
I walked away from church for a while.
Yeah. Hey, listen, the people the church is always the real. It's the people that make up the church. They people. They the flawed. That's the flawed. They the flaweds. They the flawed ones.
Yes.
Yep.
But
So
I mean,
go ahead.
basically everything started to kind of change in a
Mhm.
positive way.
Mm.
One of the things I think that really stuck to me was seeing my friends on TV. I don't know if you remember this show on it was on VH1 or MTV. It was one of those two. It was called Hit the Floor.
Hit the floor. I don't. I
It was
hit the floor.
about basically it was about like a young girl whose mom used to it's about like it was a basketball and like cheerleading show.
I know what you talking about. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking
So,
about.
even though it was like a scripted show, but the
Yeah.
girl the main character, her name was Asha Hayes, but her real name is Taylor Page.
Okay.
She went to Debbie Allen dance school, dance academy with me. So seeing her on TV, I'm just like I used to
That could.
dance right next to her. Like
Mhm.
I was literally right next to her. So seeing her on TV, like that made me want to go back to LA. So then I ended
Wow.
up going back out to LA again and I started to just dance. I was traveling and doing all of these amazing things. Then I ended up coming back home and finished high school here.
Wow.
But
You.
I kind of went back and forth.
Yep. I mean, you you living what some people call the dream. You are living the dream because you skilled at what you do. Now, when you going back and forth, by you when you're going back and forth in the latter parts of this, after you've come home and and gotten plumping back up by your grandma, and facing facing demons in regards to what happened to you.
Yeah.
Um, you were able to find enough strength to go back and start taking control of your life per se when it came to dance and getting that experience and that exposure, and of course networking and building camaraderie and friendships with some of your colleagues, because that's important,
Absolutely.
and
I mean, I feel
some
like I just got lost. I got lost into dance, like, because it's like, again, I'm literally in the back room, at my sister's dance tryout, and I'm learning all the material, and it just stuck to me. And I felt like everything I've done up until that point, I just didn't care about.
right.
I didn't want to do. It wasn't a thing that I love to do, but dance was. So that is still my heart and my soul and like
Mhm.
passionate
That
about it.
that's
So
your passion.
you
That's
know,
your pat.
it's just like what Erica Badu said it. I'm sensitive about my shit. Because
Yeah, you
I am like, can't nobody tell me nothing. I don't care if you the daggone president of the United States, baby. You cannot
Yep,
tell me like you didn't walk in my shoes. I walked in my
right.
shoes. I meant
Yep,
to speak for myself.
and you still walking in your shoes. You still walking in your shoes.
Under his leadership, the first go round. The first go around, you want to try? We gonna give
Look,
it.
look,
Go ahead,
look at you, look at you.
calm down. Okay.
So you're back in North Carolina now, Justine, after having this remarkable journey and experience in California,
Yes.
going to the chosen getting a scholarship to the Debbie Allen's School of Dance, one of the most prestigious dance schools in the country, in the nation, one of the best. You get slapped by Debbie Allen, crazy girl, slapped by Debbie Allen. Whoa.
Fine.
And
That was my mistake because I shouldn't have said what I said. But I mean, hell, I said it, and yeah.
yeah, hey, listen, especially when you're younger, we full of a whole lot of vigor when we younger. I'm telling you. And so you have this experience, you come back to North Carolina,
Yes.
and you're continuing to dance because you've graduated at this point. Now, how are you able to continue where are you able to continue your career in dancing after high school?
Yeah, absolutely. So at that time, if I'm not mistaken, the dance school that I started at when I first started out my training, that my dance teacher introduced me to, they were changing a lot of their things because now, a lot of people are experienced in a lot of other like dance genres.
Yep.
I'm well versed because I'm learning everything back in LA. So when I come back here, it's like, okay, I'm kind of like, okay, everything is like slow pace. I was
Yep.
still able to, continue my training. I just had to kind of do things on my own, if that makes sense. Like
Hmm.
take classes, as far as like whoever was teaching them. Um,
Got you.
and then I remember I had to turn down an opportunity to dance with the Alvin Ailey Dance Company. I got an invitation to be a part of their company to dance with them as a
Hmm.
soloist. I
You guys do your research on that company now.
Yes,
That is one of those companies when it comes to the dancing profession. So go
yes.
ahead.
Um, and I was just like, you know what? Oh my gosh. This is around the time when I stopped. After I found out I didn't, I couldn't do it anymore. I was just like, I took a break from dance completely.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up going off to college.
There we go.
And then that's when the real stuff kind of,
Stuff start. Yep. Here we go. Now we go. There we go. So what school did you end up choosing to attend when it came to your college years?
yeah, absolutely. So I started out, so I actually went to St. Augustine's University.
Okay.
It's in Raleigh. It's right around the corner from Shaw University and NC State.
Okay.
So I got a full scholarship for the band. At that time, the band was like, you eat like an ice cream sundae, right?
Yep.
It was that good of a band.
Yeah,
I,
100%.
and luckily, I would say that I wasn't. I was challenged and I was pushed, and I was still getting the same dance experience as I was getting from out in LA.
Yeah.
So that's what made me want to join the band because my dance
Mm.
teacher, well, my dance coach at that time, she was like chef's kiss. So I started off there, and then I was able to take classes at NC State, which is in Raleigh, North Carolina, and that's where I graduated from.
Right. So you went to NC State, home of the Wolfpack, right?
The Wolfpack, go Pack.
Go Pack. So you're now when let's go to that. Let's go to that the college time, because as you preface, like, oh my, hey, listen, that's where a lot of craziness. That's where a lot of
Down for
you
real.
had to make a stand and fight for your right to be a human being and a person that you want to be.
Yeah.
So let's start in, you're at where does a lot of this occur? Is it at NC State? I would imagine.
It was both, because
It was
so at that time, NC State allowed their students to do extracurricular activities outside of schools, well,
Yeah.
outside of that school. So
Okay.
let's just say if you was a student at NC State, right?
Okay.
If you wanted to be on the football team at St. Aug, you could. If you wanted to play football at Shaw, you could.
I got it. Was like a sister. It was like a sister connecting school. I got you.
And so my homegirl, who was Sharmia, I love you. You my girl.
Shout out.
She went to NC State, and her boyfriend was, I'm gonna say, a quarterback or a wide receiver for the team. Very well known.
Okay.
So she was on the dance line with me when I was at St. Aug. So that's kind of like how I was able to kind of like take classes at NC State, because she was introducing me and was kind of like helping me get enrolled in the school.
Okay.
So that's how that happened. But yeah, like me and her, we came from the same dance background, like very like doing a thing.
Yeah.
And and I remember in college, that's when I had my first boyfriend, official boyfriend.
Right.
And he taught me a lot. He taught me a lot. He taught me a lot.
Yeah.
And I appreciate him for doing that, because mind you, when I say that I didn't grow up, I grew up learning about the birds and the bees, but I didn't do the birds and the bees.
We can do some. Bro, keep talking that shit, you just might move some. Apply that pressure, 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 pressure. Apply that pressure, pressure, pressure.